Metallica bassist Robert Trujillo opens up about James Hetfield's recent trip to rehab. Plus, Ozzy Osbourne laments face tattoos. He says he can't stand them. We got a lot to get to today. Stick with us. Good afternoon and welcome to Rockfeed. Thanks so much for joining us. If you're one of the people who watches this show regularly and you're not subscribed, the best way to support this channel is simply by hitting that subscribe button. You can help us out a lot. Tells YouTube you like us and they'll show our video to more fans. All right, we're going to get to this Metallica story in just a moment, but first I want to talk about Ozzy Osbourne's recent comments about face tattoos. Now, in case you missed it, Ozzy Osbourne recently collaborated with Post Malone, who certainly has his fair share of facial tattoos. Regardless, the Ozman himself is always honest about how he feels, and he was asked in a recent interview with Ozzy's Boneyard on SiriusXM what he thought about the prospect of getting face tattoos. He says, "I would never do that. Anything above the collar should be stopped. To be honest, it makes you look dirty." And he says that he hasn't been able to handle tattoo pain as well as he has in the past. He says they reckon that as you get older, it hurts more. When I started getting the sleeve, I was like, I'm too old, stop. I was 50 something. I was like, what are you doing? When he got to my elbows, I was like, what are you doing? What am I paying this asshole to do? And so Ozzy Osbourne holding nothing back there. And there is a trend. Lots of people getting face tattoos. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you have some face tattoos? What do you think about it? Do you think people are judgmental against you because of your tattoos? I'd be interested to hear that. All right, folks, we got to move on. We're going to talk about the former drummer of Bullet for My Valentine. He's really knocking the band's music. He has a new band now, and he made some interesting comments during a recent interview that I want to talk about. So former Bullet for My Valentine drummer Michael Moose Thomas was interviewed by Wall of Sound to support his new album with his band Kill the Lights. It's called The Center. It's their debut album out on Fearless Records. And he spoke about his time in Bullet for My Valentine. I'm going to share with you what he said and then give you some of my thoughts. He was talking about leaving Bullet for My Valentine back in 2016. He says, Bullet got very stale, After the third album, we were trying to get a bit of cash because, it's your job, but it just got boring. It was just too safe with Bullet. We started recording our fourth album, Temper Temper, and we were just writing for radio, which is definitely the wrong thing to do. When I joined Kill the Lights, we were just like, F radio. We have our own sound. I grew up with a lot of punk rock, and none of that is on the radio. And we just enjoy what we're doing, and that's where we are at the moment, just being ourselves. So again, you can check out his new band, Kill the Lights. Their debut album comes out tomorrow. But I do want to say this. Usually, in my opinion, when you hear a bandmate say that they left a band because their sound got stale, in my experience, there's usually more to the story. I've never really heard of an actual scenario where somebody goes, man, our sound is just too stale and I'm out of here. My guess would be there's more to the story here, and his comments come off a little bit salty because Bullet for My Valentine is still doing very well. They have a massive fan base, and they are highly successful. And to be perfectly honest with you, I really enjoyed their latest album. I thought they did a great job with it. They have a live album that includes a lot of their newer material as well, and I like to listen to that when I go for walks or occasionally jog. And, I like Bullet for My Valentine. Oftentimes, it's more difficult to make your newer material connect with fans, but I did feel like this was more of just a slight. When you leave a band, you're not always on good terms with them, so it seems like he's just throwing a shot. And then also by saying, we're not interested in getting on the radio is honestly just a representation of public interest. To say you're not necessarily interested in radio, I think I get what he's saying here, but to me it also could sound like they're setting a ceiling above their band. But I will say I listened to the material. It does sound good. Give them a shot. Check them out. Kill the Lights, and let's move on. Fozzy is back in the studio working on their follow-up to their latest release, and Chris Jericho posted this video from the studio talking about being in the studio.
You're on fire! You're on fire! Your day's coming!
Definitely looking forward to that. And now we're going to talk about Metallica. Their bassist Robert Trujillo was interviewed for the new episode, or edition rather, of Metal Hammer, which is on sale today. You can pick it up. And in part of that interview, he was asked about James Hetfield's return to Rehab. It was something that he says took the band by surprise very much. And he was asked about that, and he said, "We really didn't see it coming. James seemed like he was fine, but then when you look back and you try to analyze the situation over time, you see where there were red flags. Being on the road can be very challenging, and I would imagine for James to get up there in front of all those people and to be on. Meanwhile, your family's not with you and all these things are going on, it builds up. Whenever something happens to a band member like this, it's so deeply unsettling. It comes at you like a shock. You have to do a bit of scrambling just to cover some ground. And James Hetfield has talked about going to rehab in the past. Remember, in the early 2000s, he went to rehab. That was chronicled in their film Some Kind of Monster, which is a fantastic documentary if you haven't seen it. And he said, going away to rehab taught me about priorities. I've been in Metallica since I was 19 years old, which can be a very unusual environment. And it's very easy to find yourself not knowing how to live outside of that environment, which is what happened to me. I didn't know anything about life. I didn't know what I would come home to, or what I would come home to and live a family life. I didn't know how I could live my life in a different way to how I was in the band since I was 19, which was very excessive and very intense. And if you have addictive behavior, then you don't always make the best choices for yourself. And I definitely didn't make the best choices for myself. And so James Hetfield is out now. He seems to be doing well, and we send him all the best. We need these guys to be as healthy as possible to come back next year in 2021 and hopefully play at least 2 shows a night, maybe 3 in every town to make up for those shows they missed this year. So, all right, I'm very much looking forward to that, and it looks like they may be working on some new material as well. So, good news all around for Metallica fans. Anyways, that is all for now. Thanks so much for joining us today at Rockfeed. Again, if you'd like to support the channel, the best way to do so is just by hitting that subscribe button. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you all very soon.